Hey there, Board Game Maniacs, and thank you for joining me for this last Painting Along With Me series episode for the Lord of the Rings Quest for Mount Doom by Games Workshop. When I say this is the last, I mean the last for this game, because if you've been following along the whole time, I did paint all the other 8 members of the Fellowship of the Ring, and Aragorn makes it the 9th and final one that we have to paint. And I hope you're enjoying this series. Please comment down below and let me know what you think of this series and how I can improve such things as camera angles, lightings, audio quality, and obviously my painting technique too as well. And as I said previously in other tutorials, or not tutorials, but other videos for Painting Along With Me, if you have any recommendations for any painting tutorials that are online that I should watch, please put the link in the comments below or send me an email at boardgamemaniacs@gmail.com. I appreciate every bit of it, and it's going to help me improve in my painting every little step of the way. Whew. All right. One other thing I'd like to say too as well is if you're liking these videos, please don't hesitate to click on the subscribe button and the bell notification, because there's 2 things. Number one, you are helping us increase our subscription and our view count, which will bring us closer to the 1,000 subscribers that we're hitting. We might even be at the 1,000 subscriber when this video comes out. Who knows? Even if we are, click on the subscribe button and show us some love. And you can also show us some love too as well by going to patreon.com and looking up Board Game Maniacs and becoming an official sponsor of Board Game Maniacs. $2 fee a month, or a one-time fee of $2 or more. It's up to you. Every little bit helps. And even just commenting and watching the videos definitely helps us out too as well. So I thank you everybody for doing what you have done, because we wouldn't be where we are today unless it was from you, the viewers and subscribers. So thank you very much. Now, having said that, painting Aragorn is the last one. I have some colors picked out that I'm going to do. So without further ado, and cutting this intro down a little bit, let's start painting Aragorn. First thing we're going to paint is his undercloak. And you can see here, it's this part here. And we are going to paint it with Mephiston Red. You can see Mephiston Red. It's not in focus, but you do know. It is Mephiston Red by Citadel. So that is what we're going to paint off first. So let's see if I can try my hardest here to keep it all in camera, because I have a tendency to just move stuff around, and it can be a little frustrating, and especially if you're trying to watch a video and they're like, hey, this is what you do for this, and you can't see it because it's not even on camera. So I apologize in advance for that, because I do know I'm probably gonna do that. But yeah, it's Mephiston Red, very easy. Starting to paint off. And I'm painting underneath here too as well. As carefully as possible. Have you seen in the other videos, if you've been watching, I do make a lot of mistakes. But I do fix them to my ability anyhow. So, every little bit helps. It's good. I'm singing. No. So again, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to paint next, because this is the last one. But saying that, and it is Games Workshop theme month, that I may continue on with more Games Workshop painting. I may just leave all the painting there, because this here is going to be 9 videos for painting that I've done. And I but I do release at least 4 videos a month, every Saturday. Or sometimes there's 5 Saturdays in a month, so 4 to 5 videos a month at least, and it's 9 a.m. Eastern time that I release them. So everybody, and I'm getting some pretty good feedback onto them, and I appreciate everybody who's commenting, because it is great. Every little bit I read, and every comment or email I do reply to. You know, it may not be right away, but I do reply to it. Some just takes a little longer. So just bear with me with that, because sometimes I get a little bit more email than what I thought I would, but that's good because I love getting, you know, from the subscribers and the viewers. I love getting emails from you, so I thank you very much for that. I appreciate it, and I'll continue on doing so as long as I can, and as long as everybody keeps, you know, commenting and subscribing and, you know, doing their thing. I'm definitely going to keep doing this for you as well as myself too as well, because it's a lot of fun doing this. When I say a lot of fun doing this, I mean a lot of fun painting, a lot of fun playing games and recording them, because I love reading the comments and, you know, people saying, hey, this is cool, or you made a mistake here, because it just educates me onto the game. And I'm hoping this is what's going to happen with these Painting Along With Me series. This is going to educate me more with painting. And that's going to be great, because knowledge is power. And I would like to have the power to be able to paint better than what I do. Focus there. I got a very narrow focus field on my camera right now, testing, see if it improves any better for the video quality and so forth. Again, like I keep saying, if you have any recommendations to make the videos better, by all means, I would love to hear from them, because every little bit helps me out so much. You have no idea. I'm going to continue painting the red on Aragorn's undercloak, and then I'll be back after that with the next color application. Next thing we're going to paint after I did all the red, and one thing I did too as well before I continue on with that sentence, is where I painted the Mephiston red. I also painted it for his little sack, or his blanket, I guess, that he sleeps on at night. I painted that red because this is going to be green, and he's going to have brown leather for holding his his arrows, and there's going to be a like XV88 for his bow. So just to break it up a little bit, I painted the red there too as well. You could have painted a different green or whatever. I just chose to do that. And, you know, that's just me. That's what I'd like to do. I like to change things up a bit. Next paint that we're going to do, though, is going to be from Vallejo, and it is German Gray. See right there, it's German Gray. And what we're going to paint with that is his pants and his sleeves, because in the picture it kind of looks like that he has black pants, or gray pants I should say, but in either case that's what color I'm choosing to paint it, and that's his sleeves too as well. And this Vallejo, the German, I'm painting it like without watering any of it down. Not saying that you have to do that, but I'm not watering it down at all. This here could be used in an airbrush, but it's not watery enough. You would have to add some water to it, or some thinner of some kind, to cut it down so you can go through an airbrush. Speaking of airbrushes, I have done a little bit of airbrushing on miniatures in the past. Not a whole lot. I'm still trying to get the knack for it. But just airbrushing in general, I know how to do, because I've been painting masks and doing like special effects makeup for years using airbrushes. So I do know how to use an airbrush. It's just trying to get it so that painting small, like miniatures. But I do understand that with an airbrush, when you're airbrushing miniatures, you're not trying to do all the little tiny details. That's going to be a brushwork. It's kind of like an overall base, I guess you could say, what you will paint onto it. Yeah, I guess that's the best way of saying it for when you're doing miniatures, what I'm understanding from watching videos online. But I could be wrong. If you do airbrushing and you would like to educate me on that, please comment down below. If you have any great video tutorials that you want to pass along to me so that I can learn, by all means, do that too as well. Put the link in the description below, or just send me an email. I'd rather the email for the links, but it is totally up to you. And again, the email is boardgamemaniacs@gmail.com. Pretty simple to remember, because if you're watching this video, it's Board Game Maniacs, and then you just got to put @gmail.com. Pretty simple. So I painted his leg for his pants, and now I'm going to paint the sleeves. So you can see on the miniature, he does have like this line. I know you can see the seam line there. I never really cleaned the miniatures. I just started painting them right away. So just be aware of that. If you're going to comment, oh, the seam lines. Yes, I know the seam lines. I just wanted to paint them. Should I have cleaned the seam lines? Yes. Should I stay in camera? Yes. But this is the way that I'm doing it. And I'm just gotta go with the flow and stay on camera. Jeez. Sorry about that. If you're having headphones on, sorry about the loudness. Now, sometimes I do have to go off camera a little bit just to get certain angles. So just be aware of that. Just like now, I got to paint underneath there, so he's going to probably be off camera just slightly, just so that I can get his sleeves done. Again, I'm trying to avoid his skin because I do not like painting flesh. I gotta get the other part. So it's gonna be a lot of turning and off camera stuff. So I'm just gonna stop the video, and when I finish painting the sleeves, I'll be back. I finished painting all of the black, or German gray, dark gray, I guess you could say. So sleeves are done. You can see I kind of made a little bit of an oopsie there, but that's going to be all fixed up with the other colors. And also too as well is I noticed he has some like leather straps, gray leather straps that are tied around his boots. So I had the gray color out, so I just decided to paint them too as well. Pretty simple. Now the next color we are going to go to is we're going to paint his cloak, and it is Lauren Forest Green that we're using. So you can see there, Lauren Forest Green. It's, you know, like just like anything else. I'm just taking my time, trying to get it as right or as neat as possible, I guess is the best word to put it. And just gotta be careful here because I don't want to get it on the red. Not that we can't repaint the red, but I just would like to try and avoid extra painting if I can. And that's just how it goes. Could be using a bigger brush just to speed up a little bit, but then bigger brush for a smaller area means it's gonna make a little bit more mistakes and spend more time cleaning it up. So instead of doing that, I am just going to just take my time now and try to get it right. And that's it. This camera angle may not be the best for this, for when I'm painting along, but you know, you gotta just keep moving forward and thinking, okay, I gotta keep it on camera, in frame, and not screw it up too bad. That's what I have to do. If I can do it is another story, but I'm certainly gonna give it an A for effort. Effort don't start with the letter A. What? What the heck? Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like there's no I in pie. There is an I in pie. Wait a minute. No, I'm only messing around. I know there's an I in pie. Yeah, I do. That's right. So, anyhow, I'm just rambling on here because there's an I in pie, but not in team. And what does that mean? I don't know what that means. That's like pretty deep. That's like from Shaun of the Dead right there. I heard rumors about Shaun of the Dead actually, that they're possibly making a second part to it, and Simon Pegg is going to be in it. It wouldn't be a Shaun of the Dead if Simon Pegg wasn't in it. I know that for sure. And I think I read it somewhere that Nick Frost may be back into it. Now, Nick Frost, if you watch Shaun of the Dead, you're going to be kind of shaking your head too as well, kind of. If not, spoiler alert in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so in Shaun of the Dead, Nick Frost had turned into a zombie, and Simon Pegg had kept him chained up in a shed where he'd go out and play video games with him. So if Nick Frost is in the second Shaun of the Dead, but he's a zombie, a mindless zombie, unless they kind of introduce like an antidote maybe, or if they just make him into a smart zombie. I don't know. That's a good question, because I really don't have an answer for that, but I'm just crossing my fingers and my toes and my eyes and my tongue that to make another Shaun of the Dead, because it's a great movie in my opinion. Like, some people out there I'm sure are like, oh, Shaun of the Dead sucks, but in my opinion I thought it was a great movie. It was very entertaining, and I might have to go watch Shaun of the Dead after I'm done painting, because I'm kind of getting in the mood for it now. I know I'm off camera kind of with that, but it can't be helped because I'm trying to get underneath his cloak to make sure that I'm not missing any parts. And the whole time doing that and not getting it on the bread, so I'm kind of in the zone of painting underneath here. I could just pause the video, but then I might be out of my zone, and I don't want to be out of my zone. But I'm gonna pause the video and I'll paint the rest of his cloak green, and then I'll be back and show you what that looks like, and we'll go on to the next color application. Finished all the green for his cloak, his outer cloak. You can see there, still drying. But Aragorn also has this right here. Now, I'm not 100% sure what that is. I thought it was rope, but it looks like it's made of material, like a sash, but it's not made of satin or anything. But in the picture, it looks like a gray. So we're gonna paint it rust gray, and we'll just see how that turns out, because hey, why not? So rust gray it is that we are painting for that. Just because I really don't know what it is, but the picture does resemble rust gray, or a gray color. So we are going to comply with the gray color. Where there's going to be the wash onto it, it's going to be a little darker. And I may even just highlight it up with some more rust gray, or highlight it with the my favorite Longbeard gray in this series anyhow. Just gotta be careful with this one, because I don't want to get it on his sleeve or anything. Again, he's kind of off camera slightly so that I can get that angle. Yeah, I got that angle all right. I'll paint this part now. It's kind of quiet. Yeah, I know. It's scary. Quiet is crazy for me. Yeah. Whispering now. Can you still hear me out there? I'm wondering if you can. If not, I'm sorry. I'll stop whispering. Okay, I'm going to stop whispering. Whew. Now, there's this little part here. I'm not 100% sure of what it is. So, I don't know if that's his hair just kind of stringing over. I know they had to keep it like that for when they did the molding and that. So I'm going to check his picture, find out what that is, and I'll be back. Still not 100% sure what that is. Again, it's probably just from the mold so that his bow is a little stronger. So I just treated it with the rust gray, and if it looks too strange, I'll just add a different color of some sort to it over top. But just got to keep moving on. So what I want to paint now is we're going to use the Minotaur leather brown, just right there. And we are going to paint all of his leather. So the leather that he has is his boots, obviously, and his quiver for his bow and so on. So let's just start painting and see where we get to. See, I could talk about the weather, but I'm not exactly sure when these videos are going to become available for everybody. So they may be in the warmer weather, and if I talk about the snow, then it's like, hey, what are you talking about? It's not snowing it. I know what we can talk about. Let's just talk about Lord of the Rings. Now, I consider myself to be an okay fan of Lord of the Rings. Like, I love Lord of the Rings. I'm not a huge fan, as in, like, I know all the information about Lord of the Rings and where everything is in the lay of the land and that. I just know from, you know, reading the books way back when, and on top of that, like the movies. The movies is more of what I've been following than anything now, because it's more closer to the present time that I watched them, I guess. So they're fresher in my mind. May have to find the Lord of the Rings book again and reread. I don't know. But I definitely enjoy the Lord of the Rings, like everything about Lord of the Rings, the world, the languages and everything else. Like, it's crazy that the language had to be created, not just the language, but then you have this massive world and all the different races and the different languages for the different races, and it boggles my mind how vast this Lord of the Rings actually is, because it is pretty massive. And it just, I'm flabbergasted by how detailed this is. Now, talking about the movies specifically here for a moment, that the movies themselves, like Weta Workshop did such an incredible job on bringing Lord of the Rings to life with all the details, and like to the point that the lettering onto the swords, the elf swords and the bows, and like that is, even on the clothing, like the wardrobe and that, where some of them would have like sayings or what have you onto it. It blows my mind, because I'm very familiar with film work from working in the film industry for such a long time. And I know how much work gets put into it, and no matter how much work you put into it, there's always deadlines that you have to keep up with, and it's crazy. And then with all that detail that they have, but it's incredible. But then you have to look at too the amount of people that they have for the department, each department. It's crazy, because it was a multi-million-dollar shoot for each movie, or $1 billion. Like, I'm not exactly sure, but I know it was a lot of money. And it's just like, I worked on some big productions in my time, but nothing that compared to that size. It's crazy. like the amount of talent that is out there that people have, and it blows my mind of how great people are with their talent and so on. And then it makes me feel sad at the same time that people out there that are so talented and they don't do anything about it. Like, they'll express their talent for themselves, but they're happy with that, which is fine. But then you should express it so that more people can experience that wonderful talent that you have. If I couldn't sculpt or paint anymore, or if I chose not to, there'd be something seriously wrong, because that's me. Like, I am a sculptor, I'm a painter, I'm a monster maker. And, you know, I have to keep doing that. Just like playing board games. I can never see myself not playing board games. I can see myself into a retirement home at the age of like 80 years old, and still like, hey, let's play a board game. Because that's just how I am, and that's who I am, and I'll never change that. Whew, that's some pretty deep thoughts that I shared there. You're welcome. I'm doing now is I'm just painting leather straps that are onto his bag. Or his sleeping, it's not a sleeping bag, like his ground blanket, I guess? Or horse blanket too? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm just painting that. And let's look at, he has a belt. Now, you notice too as well as he has a sword here, so I just painted it with the German gray. Because I had the German gray out at the time, so I'm like, hey, I might as well just paint it with that. So I'm just going on and painting his belt that he has too as well. Just like so. I think that's it for the leather onto him, because I can't really see anything else that's jumping out at me like, oh, I got to paint that leather. Nope. I'm happy with that. So the next thing that I'm painting with Aragorn now is, let's just follow along with the brown part of it. We're going to do the XV88 to paint his bow. Yeah, let's do that. XV88 time. You can see it's right there. Get in focus. Citadel's base XV88. So you're just going to paint this bow with it. Add a little bit of water to this. Yes, I'm watering down some of the paint. You can probably hear the dinging of my water glass a little bit too as well. I left a little space right here that you can see because his bow kind of goes right there, so just be careful to paint that. Whew. Whoops. You don't want to do that. So quiet. Jeez, what's wrong with me? Why am I being this quiet? Like, you have to keep talking. Blah. I know there's music playing in the background. But, you know. That's what we can talk about next, is if you're shooting videos for YouTube, and like, well, where do you get all your music from? There's an awesome thing on YouTube. It's the creator part, and you can choose music from there to put in your videos. And if you click on, you know, you don't need to, I can't remember what license it is, but anyhow, you'll find it when you click there. That's a lot of the music that I use, because I don't have to put any end credits for the type of music or whoever I'm using it, but sometimes I will pick certain music that for attributes. That's it, that's the word, attribute. That'll include the attribute for the music. But then sometimes you have like this really cool music. You're like, oh, I want to give tribute to this person who made this music. They spent the time, but then it's like a silent partner, and you're like, I can't give any attributes for that because we don't know who it is. Just be mindful of that, though. You don't get hit with any copyright issues or anything for music and so on, because you want to make sure that you have the rights to use them. And I just find it very safe for when I'm dealing with the videos for YouTube that I just use the creator link to put like sound effects or the music and everything else, because they're giving you the right for it and you're not going to get any copyright thing. I just moved this upside down for a second so I could paint the part of his bow that I missed. So there, I think that's it for the XV88 if I'm not mistaken. Got his bow. You can see here I painted because I went over it first with the green because I thought it was part of his cloak, but it wasn't, so I just went back over with the XV88. Now the next thing we're going to do is let's paint the flights or the feathers onto his bow. And the color we're going to use for that is Pallid Witch Flesh, because I like the look of Pallid Witch Flesh, especially when you put like the Agrax Earth shade onto it, because it makes it look nice and dirty. And like I said, I like painting stuff to make them look like they're dirty, because arrows aren't very plentiful. You have to make more, so I'm sure Aragorn would shoot something and then he'd go and he'd retrieve his arrow. That way he don't have to worry about getting more arrows. And by retrieving other arrows, you're bound to get them dirty, because the flights ain't going to stay pristine onto them, especially if you're shooting an animal when you're hunting to eat and you shoot it into the mud or what have you, then you need to still use your arrows. So that is it. So that's my understanding, or me making sense of the whole thing. So I painted the Pallid Witch Flesh, you can see there, I didn't show it on camera, for the flights of the arrows. So next thing we're going to do, I think, is we are going to do his sword, and then after that we're going to do his hair. For his sword, we are using the same way I always use, the Rufang steel. And just watering it down slightly. On camera. There we go. Now, I didn't water down all the swords for the other ones because I wanted to make them look rough. But again, this here is the sword of the king that the elves have just put together, or it could be, so I'm keeping it that way, that it's clean and pristine. And the hilt of the sword, or the block, I'm also painting with the silver. See there. There we go. Getting the edges, I'm not even watching the monitor here. I just had to flip it up to make sure I got the silver there. I did. So the back part of his block, you can see right there. Let me get that part. You can't really see any other part of the sword because his hands are totally covering the handle. So we're going to just keep it like that. It's a little better. All right, so the sword is done. The next thing to do is we're going to paint his hair, and the color that we're using for his hair is going to be Gorthor Brown. There we go. Gorthor Brown, not Gorthone. I kept on saying Gorthone. It's Gorthor Brown. Here we go. Gorthor Brown. There's no N into it. All right. I hope I'm not going to mess up his hair or his goatee, because we all know that I'm not that great at painting that part. If you have any secrets for painting goatees, I think I said this when I did Boromir too as well. I asked a question that, besides just being careful and being very mindful on what you're painting, but if you have any thoughts, like on how I can try to improve painting the goatee on him, by all means, or just facial hair in general. How do you do it? Because I see some pictures and it just, like, the detail is absolutely crazy. We don't have a goatee. He has a beard, actually. My bad. So I'm going to have to extend the paint onto his jawline. Just like that. I missed the spot right here. I know you can't really see all of it, but I'm trying my best here. I think I kind of overextended it a bit. We'll fix that with some of flesh tone, but I'll leave it like that for now. And I'm just going to paint the rest of his hair now. Just like so. Because he has a little bit close to like shoulder length here. Very close to Boromir. Very quiet again. It's my singing voice. Hope you like it. Never took a lesson in my life. Oh. Yeah, missed a little bit there. Alright, so I'm going to pause the video just so I can finish painting his hair to get it all as best as I can and fix the mess up on his beard, and I'll be back after that. Whew, okay, so that part is done. I fixed it what I could of it for his beard and his face. And the skin tone that I painted it with was the Kislev Flesh. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm just going to paint the base. When I say the base, I mean just the part there with the sand onto it. And it is dry stone gray, just like always, that I'm using to paint it with, because I'm keeping all the bases the same except for the rims are just a little differently. Yeah. Just like that. So after I'm done doing the base here with the color, the gray, then I'm going to be adding the washes. And I'm not going to show the washes again because there's no real technical skill or that I'm applying the washes with. I know you can get technical with the washes, but I'm not. The only technical part of it is for the skin tone. It's 70% Recklin Flesh Shade and 30% water mix. Then I'm going over the skin, and then I'm going over with the Agrax Earth Shade for the rest of the clothing. And then for the base, I'm just using the no oil wash. So it's very simple what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything special to it. And the Aragorn earth shade is going over everything, his clothes, his sword, you name it, it's going onto it, except for his skin tone, obviously. And except for the base, because that is going to be the no oil, whatever you want to call it. And then that's about it. Then that dries, and then we come back for the highlighting. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'll be back after I add all the shades and we're ready to do the highlights. All the wash is dry now, and you can see it pulled up a little bit and it made this cape really dirty looking, and I really like the way it looks. But I am going to throw some highlights onto it. So we're going to highlight, starting off, all the red, and we are going to be using Evil Sunz Scarlet, you can see right there, to starting off with the highlighting. Again, this is pretty much the same process of what I did in most of my videos, but last video with Boromir, I think it was, I ended up doing a first dry highlight with the Longbeard Gray, and then after the Longbeard Gray, then I continued on and highlighted over top. It was kind of like a little bit of a different step than what I'm usually doing, but it worked out good. I liked it. And now this one here, I'm kind of going back to the same way that I originally started doing highlighting at the beginning of this series for like Frodo and Sam and that. So just, again, I'm just picking out the parts that are kind of jumping out at me and applying just a little bit of the Evil Sunz Scarlet where I want to. So you can see his knee, it's stuck right out there. So because of that, I'm going to throw some highlight onto it. Because his knee is kind of prominently pointing out there, so that is where the light would hit and really bring it out. Just like that. Pretty easy, nothing too drastic. Just kind of putting a little bit of paint and water on my brush and going to it. So I'm not like totally diluting the paint with the brush and water. I am keeping a little bit more of a stronger concentration. Just like that. It's not too shabby. I like it. I like it a lot. So let's paint it a little bit here too as well. And he's okay like that. I'm not gonna do too much more with his undercloak, but I am going to highlight his blanket or ground cover, whatever you would call that. Sleeping bag? Nah, I don't think it'd be called sleeping bag. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what they would have called it then. If you do, comment down below and let me know, because I would like to know. So again, just throwing a little bit of the red highlight down. I'm trying to keep in as much of that wash dry where it is, because I'm liking that. So we did that. Now let's highlight the black a bit, and the way we're going to do that is we're just going to use a little bit of gray and just highlight it. For highlighting the German black, or German gray I should say, it's almost black, we're going to be using Dark Reaper. It's kind of in a grayish color. Be good for a highlight, I would think. If not, you can just always fix it. So again, I'm just kind of picking out, his knee is still stuck out there, so I'm just going to be painting his knee a bit with it. And the leather on his boots, like the strap part, the black too as well. I'm just touching it on it just very slightly in spots, just to give it a little bit more of a dimension, that it's a little broad, it's sticking out a bit. And you can see here his other knee, just right there. Highlight that slightly, and part of the the black onto him too. Nothing too drastic. I like that. And continuing on, we're going to add a little bit to the sheath of his sword or dagger. Again, just a little tiny bit. Just like so. And now let's do a little bit onto his sleeves too. And then we'll look at the back of him, see if we can highlight any that way. So with his sleeves, like his shoulders are kind of like what's dominant here that are sticking out. So just gonna paint some onto his shoulders. And then working with the wrinkles on his arms. On camera would be great, yeah. And like his cuffs. Like that. So it's very subtle, like you can't really see that much of a difference, but if you really look at it, you're definitely going to be able to see that there's some highlight put on there. Same for this shoulder too as well. Just adding it there. And this cuff. This elbow part. Just like that. I'm not throwing too much. And since I'm on this side, I might as well finish off his leg, because you can see some wrinkles going on here. So just tracing them wrinkles. Tracing them wrinkles, and then the black onto his boots. Same thing, just throwing a little bit on there. Not like putting like a tremendous amount. This is just very little. It's very subtle. That's the Dark Reaper part. Like, there's not much more that I can put on there that I want. I'm sure I could add more. Actually, we're going to take the Dark Reaper while I got it out, and that thing that we weren't sure about what it was, the sash I called it, we're going to highlight that. And just with some Dark Reaper, it's going to trace some of the outline onto it. Just so it pops a bit, but not too much. So like that. I'm okay with that. Blends in really good, very subtle. So now let's go on and do his cloak, and then we'll do the leather. For his green cloak, we're going to be using Warboss Green. It's a little lighter than what's on there. See, Warboss Green. And we're just going to do some highlighting, throw some on. Just need to grab some of it. Okay, so again, just along the edges. Starting it off there. Gotta mix this paint up just slightly here. Just give me a second. I'm gonna keep rolling it. Why not? Why? Why not? I'm just diluting the Warboss Green slightly. I would say maybe like 90% paint by 10% water. So let's continue on here. All right. So again, it's kind of the cartoony style a little bit. I like it looking like that. It may be an acquired taste, who knows, but I like it. So I'm gonna keep doing it. So all I'm doing here again is I'm kind of tracing just the edging of it and then just filling in some spots. But I am trying to keep the dirt look. Because Aragorn's not a guy who's worried about his appearance when he's out trying to slay the orcs and everything else. He just goes to it and he gets the job done. And that's just that. It's, you know, it can't be all pretty. When he's in Minas Tirith, then yeah, nice and clean. He got his king garb on. But until then, he's a warrior. He's on a quest. And that's what he is on a quest. That's my trumpet. Didn't take a lesson in my life. All right. I'm liking the way this is turning out. And I'm just kind of following the natural flow and wrinkles of his cloak here. Nothing too great. So I'm going to keep continuing on with using the green. And I'll be back after I'm finished. And it's the War Boss green. All the War Boss green is put onto it. Onto his cloak, you can see it's turning it around. I kind of left it a little rough there because I like the texture for it. And now what I'm going to add is the brown for the leather highlight, and it's a shag brown. See right there, shag brown. That I'm going to paint all the leather parts just for the highlighting. So we'll do his feet first. I'm just gonna just bring out some of the highlights there. Like that. Easy peasy. Okay. And he's got 2 feet. So I gotta do the other one. All right, so that's good for his shoes or his boots. Since we got him turned around, let's highlight his quiver. I like it like that. That looks pretty good. And he also has like the leather belt and so on. So you can see a little piece of it right here. So we'll do that. And don't forget the straps too. That's holding his ground blanket. That's what I'm saying, it is ground blanket until I know otherwise. Just like that. Boots are done. Oh yeah, his belt. Just a little bit for his belt. Like, I'm not repainting over his belt, I'm kind of like edging it a bit. Just to bring out little pieces here and there for it. And I like that. Yeah. Now, I may use this too as well, some shag brown, just to highlight his hair a little bit. I don't want to do too much highlight onto it. I kind of like the the color of it, but a little bit would be nice to bring it out. So maybe just a little bit, and then mute it down a bit. Kind of like the front of his face a bit. Like the hair that's close to the front of his face is what I meant to say. Not putting shagburn on his face. So I don't think that would really work. And just picking out little strands here and there. And again, just dabbing it to mute it a bit. I'm okay with that. Don't look too bad, but now I have to try to do a little bit of highlight onto his goatee. Just a little tiny touch. Well, beard, I guess. Just a little bit like that. I'm not going to push that too much because I'll probably make a mess of it. And the only thing left to do now is I'm going to highlight his sword and his bow with some more XV88, I think, and the flights. So while we're still rolling, I already have the Palette Witch flesh out here. I'm just giving it a quick shake so that we can kind of do the flights right now onto his bow, or his arrows, I should say. So again, I'm just gently going over some spots here. Nothing too drastic, just to kind of be like, bam, you can see that he has his flights, or his arrows there. And for XV88, that I painted with the bow, we're going to do that too as well, just to kind of string it along slightly. Ow, I just hit my hand while I was trying to shake the paint up. That don't work like that. That's just being silly. Yep, so highlighting. And I'm doing it off camera. There we go, yeah. I can't forget that one little piece of his bow that's down there. Again, I'm not worried too much about it because even if I didn't highlight his bow, I'd be happy with the way it looked. So that's it though for the bow. And now we are going to do some highlighting onto his sword. And we're using Roofing Steel. Give it a little shake here. It's kind of a bit of a longer clip because I'm kind of finishing off the final touches. The final countdown. Diddly-doo. 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 Then I'm watering it down a little bit. And now, let me get it on camera there. Just ever so slightly. And the amount of mixture, like the ratio for the water to the paint, is probably like about 90 to 10. So 90% is the Roofing Steel, and the 10 is the water. Again, I just kind of cleaned it up a bit. I left a little bit of it showing through. I'm not going to touch the block though. I kind of like that to be a little more tarnished, just to add a little bit of difference into it. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to highlight his base. And when I say his base, I mean the texture on his base. To highlight the texture on his base, we are using none other than Longbeard Gray, which I used on all the other bases. And again, I got some on my brush, the product. I'm just gently brushing it along just to bring up the texture. Not rocket science. A little bit more product wouldn't hurt, actually. Maybe make this a little bit more lighter, just to stand out a bit. that. And then the other side. All right, so the only thing left to do now, and I'm not going to really have to show this up on camera, but I'm going to paint the base and I'll be back, but we're going to paint the rim of the base like a blue color, and then it's the ceiling part that we're going to have to do. I'm not doing that on camera, but I'll be back in a moment after I paint the blue rim. And there we have it, the final, last member of the Fellowship of the Ring, Aragorn. And the base color that I painted was Cantor Blue. And that's it. Like everything else, I'm very happy with the way that Aragorn turned out. Hope you enjoyed this painting along with me series for Lord of the Rings Quest for Mount Doom. And what's going to be up next, I'm not sure, but it may be another painting tutorial, maybe the gameplay of this, but in either case, just look forward to the next video that is going to be posted on the Board Game Maniacs channel for the theme month of Games Workshop. And how can you find out what video is posted? By clicking on the subscribe button and the bell notification. That is how you're going to do that. So just simply do that. Plus, when you click on the subscribe button, you are automatically entered in to win prizes on our channel. We gave a game board away, and a board game, I should say. A board game away. I'm talking backwards. I'm talking talkwards. So we gave a game board away, and the next giveaway is a hoodie, but when this comes out, I don't know if we're going to hit our target to give away the hoodie, a Board Game Maniacs hoodie. If not, that might be the next giveaway, and if that already passed, just look on it and you'll see giveaway number 3, maybe number 4, maybe number 5, who knows. But in either case, that is it for the Lord of the Rings Quest to Mount Doom for the painting. And if you want to become an official sponsor of Board Game Maniacs, as I said before, just go to patreon.com and go to Board Game Maniacs, and you can do a nominal fee of $2 a month to help support us, or a one-time fee of $2 or more, where it's going to help us get more minis in, get more paint, get more games, and just keep plugging away at this YouTube channel and let it get just bigger and bigger and evolve as time goes on. So thank you very much, and until next time, you know what I'm going to say, and that is, play Lord of the Rings. What? I mean, till next time, be a maniac. Boo!
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to keep up to date with Board Game Maniacs, click on the like and subscribe button to be notified when more videos come available. If you want to become an official sponsor of Board Game Maniacs, go to patreon.com/BoardGameManiacs. Or you can go to streamlabs.com/BoardGameManiacs1. That's right, and you can donate to help keep the lights on, keep food in our bellies, and play more games. We'll purchase more games, more equipment to make Board Game Maniacs evolve and get bigger and larger because of you, the viewers. I thank you from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head for all of your support. And until next time, Board Game Maniacs, be a maniac.